All right. All right. Hello, everybody. We are live. Let's continue with another session of world building inside Unreal Engine 5. All right. Everything's super sweet. Time to continue with this swamp environment. Want to bring this to some kind of finished state, at least some to a state that I feel more comfortable with, to continue with the rest areas. It's time to start adding a little bit more detail, start adding a little bit more little things like focusing on the set dressing and trying to actually get something interesting going instead of just alright, here I'm going to change the scale of these candles because not a big fan. Great. Not a super big fan of this, of the scale of things here. Let me just get some variation. This can go smaller, this can go bigger, as well as this. And this can go bigger, smaller. Not like that. That's kind of cool. And this beat is so nice. Slim Shady on with medieval sounds. I mean medieval style. Okay, nice. Cool. Again, here, what? What can we do here? Really feels empty here. Way empty. Alright, let's see what else we get. Okay, let's add more set dressing. What do we have for set dressing? We have this little things here. Let's maybe add them around there. Okay. What else? I'd like to add, maybe we can add some grains or something here. This might be like a storage kind of thing. Rocks or potatoes or what? I don't know. When it gets so low poly, it's just a blob. Doesn't really define anything. I kinda don't like that. Maybe a texture will define it. Can make it a potato texture or something. What is happening here? Oh, what? I understand now, okay. This is the rope of the sack. Alright, this is kinda nice, it's just that it needs to be a little bit more like maybe attached somewhere. Yeah. Okay, cool. Kinda like this. Let's see here. Underneath this, I kinda wanna have something interesting. Barrels. It's like, well, when you don't know what to place, barrels are always nice. They need like a dark and cool place to like sit. What texture are they using? Okay, this is another texture. Okay, this has another material, so I'm not able to use the moss variation I created. On these ones yet, need to create another variation. For that, foliage, wanna paint some foliage. Right here, I wanna add make this foliage 0.75, minimum 0.5. Let's make it small. Paint with a single brush, just to place little ones around here. Okay, not selecting what I need. Just deselect everything and just select the ones I want. Then select some other grass. Now I should be able to paint only the ones I want. Not exactly. This pineapple shape, it's funny. Okay. Well, also some foliage in here, since it's so mossy, some dirt accumulated, and we can have some plants growing there as well, no problem. Maybe they're a little bit too big. Also on the roof, can have some stuff growing on the roof as well. Okay, cool. Vines, always nice. Static mesh, filter, and now we can see. More interesting. We got some other stuff, but these ones might not be the ones we need, because I think these are too realistic. And they are... It's funny how they make them move sometimes. It's not an underwater plant. It's not supposed to move like that. We can change that, no problem, but it's too detailed for this. Doesn't really go well with the style I'm trying to go with. Okay. Okay. All right. We need rocks, I guess. Do we have something here? Rick. I mean rock. Okay. Single. Let's go. Yeah, again, deselect all the foliage. Then select only the rocks. Little pebbles. Hey, what's up? How are you? Sagar Pandit? These rocks look exactly the same as the texture on the ground. Oops, maybe we need different rocks. Let's add some pebbles. I know we have some pebble rocks. Maybe we can add bigger rocks. Yeah, let's just add some small rocks. Some interesting rocks like this. Those are kind of nice. But I would like them to have a different texture. I think that's nice. Yeah. Let's actually play with those. Let's try to add them to the foliage. SM rock path. It's called, let's go cancel this, rock ground. Let's try to get those into the foliage. So I wrote something wrong. So it's this one, and we have only two. It's exactly the ones I got. It's okay. I thought we had different ones. Let's just create a foliage asset, and let's get rid of those two, and let's go rock and get those, and then we can paint. Nice. That's cool. I just want to have them different size. So let's go 0.25 to 0.5. I want something very small. That's nice. Little pebbles like that. Little pebbles. Let's see where can we add those. Oh, we got some floating stuff here. I realized. We got some floating things here. We can fix that by actually just putting some rocks.
OMG face screaming in fear, are you making a game? God bless you, honey face.
Hey, I'm making an environment for the game. It's part of the game. And it's going to be an RPG. I don't know much about the game yet. I'm working with other two people, and they asked me to create an environment. So it's going to be like an RPG kind of game. Not really sure exactly what's going on with this, but pretty happy to be working on a project like this, because I always wanted to make something stylized, and I got the chance now, and I got very cool assets. Most of these assets I actually have been collected for years. You know, Unreal Engine gives free. Thank you. Unreal Engine gives free assets every month, so I've been collecting them for years now. Now it's time to actually do something with them. But actually my client got some assets for me, which I'm very happy for, and I'm going to create something very cool. Let's try to change these rocks. I would like them to have another material. So let's see if we can actually give them another material. A static mesh. I would like this one. There's a horizontal stream that shows all the menus using for Unreal Engine. So if you are interested in the menus and all the things that I'm doing, because the vertical stream only shows the viewport, but if you want to see what I'm clicking on the program and what I'm actually doing, it's you can go into the horizontal stream. Just go to my YouTube channel and then you will see the horizontal and the vertical one. I need to make a little message for people to see that, because there's a lot of people who wants to see the menus and they are in the vertical stream and they're like, what? I don't know what they're doing. I don't understand all these menus that you're talking about. So let's open up this one here and try to find these rocks. I made this other texture which is a little bit darker, that goes better with this environment, and I'm just want to place that there, and I want to place this as well in here. Now all the rocks should look darker like this. Let's see. Yes, now we got some swamp rocks. Cool. What is this? Thank you. Yeah, so foliage, let's try to paint some little rocks. Yeah, little rocks, just to integrate everything a little bit in the environment. Every time you place a prop like a tree or something that is like just sticking out from the ground, for example like this, it feels like fake, but if you add a little rock, now it kind of blends into the environment a little better. It's kind of fun. Just one little rock can do the trick. It doesn't need to be exactly on each one or exactly very close to it, but just that little trick makes the thing feel much more nicer. Like this is just a stick coming out here. Now it doesn't feel like that. The lighting is very dark right now. Don't tell me that I'm having problems with the post-process volume again. Oh my god, this process volume is super hard to get right. I still don't understand what I'm doing wrong with this. I'm supposed to get... Yeah, I think it's the auto exposure that makes it look darker when I'm actually in the shade. I really need to learn these lighting settings right. Lighting is difficult, I'm not gonna lie. It's difficult. I understand why lighting artists are real heroes. It's hard to get this going right. Okay, foliage. When you have all these elements combined together, it's really tricky. It really becomes very, very tricky to get. You see, I'm in the light now, it feels more shiny. It's the exposure values that I need to play with, which I need to get my camera and start actually learning some photography and, and start actually understanding how light works through the lens of a camera. That will help for sure. Now, then I can really translate that knowledge into the Unreal Engine settings. There's this very good lighting artist who works at Ubisoft, and he has some great tutorials on lighting. I really need to study those. We are not gonna give moss to the rocks in the campfire because the fire burns and keeps the rocks very hot for moss to grow in them. Whoa, the exposure is changing a lot, it's crazy. I like that effect of coming from a dark area to a light area and having that kind of light. It feels like real life, right? When you're in a dark room and you go out, it's like your eyes take some seconds to adjust. It's a very nice effect, but you don't want to make it too slow because then it's a little bit annoying for the player. little rocks. How, like, you can do so much with little rocks. It's so nice. Foliage and rocks, the most common assets in the world, and they're so important. There's actually an artist that worked for God of War, and his task was to create rocks. He's a rock artist, and he went over his workflow using ZBrush, and it is an art of itself just to create rocks. That's a true environment artist. His only task was to create rocks, and it's not easy. It's not easy task to make a rock look interesting, different, and still believable. Wow, interesting stuff. I don't know. It's an interesting time to be a 3D artist. The only thing you have is the present moment. There's nothing else. Doesn't really matter how the industry is doing. Doesn't really matter what's actually happening in the whole thing. The only thing you can do is the only thing you can do is what is in what's the word I'm looking for? If you cannot change something, don't worry about it. That's basically what I'm trying to say. The only thing you can do is focus on yourself and try to make yourself a better artist and improve your skills. That's the only thing. A little bit like a stoic thinking, like if it's not under your control, why care about it? Why really think about it? Which is a little bit black and white. You do need to care about the industry, you do need to care about things going all over the world, like for example wars in other countries and stuff like that, but at the same time it's like it takes a lot of energy from you just to be thinking of all of these things. It's always nice to just focus on what you can change. It's sometimes hard to focus on yourself and not see the other things around you. For example, when you're waiting for a job interview, or you are going through some like bad emotions, it's kind of like it's kind of hard, but you need to always try to stay positive, because that's how you're gonna feel the best and you're going to perform the best. It really messes with you if you are not a positive person. It really makes you bitter, and then everything just becomes bitter, and you don't want to be that person. Select. Okay, let me just push these trees into the ground, because they're supposed to be actually inside the ground. When you're working with slopes, this is what happens. This tree is gonna fall down, so let me just push it a little bit. It's funny how this music sometimes makes me talk very personal topics, maybe like inspirational topics. It's kind of fun. Oops. That's what art is for. Making you get those emotions out. Nice. I was feeling very angry with myself these last days, and it was kind of not a nice feeling. I was feeling like, oh, I started playing games again. I'm wasting my time. I just feel like I don't need to play games anymore, but I'm making games. Like, how come I'm not able to play games? I need to play games. I need to see how they actually work. It's like, come on, dude. How am I supposed to know what a good game is if I don't play other good games? And then I got to a point where it's like, maybe I'm playing these games when I'm very tired. I'm not really giving them a chance. Like, if you work 8 hours in making a game and then you play other 4 hours, you're spending 12 hours on the computer, and that's not good. You really need to take it easy with that. And one very smart friend of mine told me, if you really want to enjoy a game, play less. The less you play, the most you enjoy it. It's kind of fun. And this comes the same with everything in life. Like, what's your favorite food? I love Caribbean food. I love like a big fish, complete with its bones and everything, in Caribbean style. And somebody asked me, if you had that fish every single day, will it still be your favorite dish? And I'm like, most likely not. There you go. You answered your question. It's all about balance. It's all about balance. So to enjoy a game, you really need to make it special. You cannot play World of Warcraft every single day for 10 hours straight. It won't be fun anymore. But if you do it a couple of hours per week with your friends, and you do very specific things in the game, and you have like a plan, oh, let's go do this dungeon, let's do these missions, it becomes much nicer. And you need to be rested. You need to be on your 100%. You need to be sharp. You cannot be like sleeping away or super tired and your eyes all like barely focusing on the thing. It becomes overwhelming. It becomes like your body doesn't want that, and then you start stressing out. Your body's asking you to go to bed and you are like pushing. Hey, the real Slash, how are you? I'm having a rant on how to enjoy games again. for a 3D artist, a game. Well, I'm not a game developer per se, but I'm a environment artist for games. The thing is that I spend a lot of time in the computer, and I'm having a hard time with enjoying games. I feel like I'm just wasting my time sometimes. And then I realized that actually it's because I'm playing these games when I'm very tired after like an 8-hour shift. So it's like, maybe that's not the best way to do it. So my advice is to play less, make it more special, make it more special. It's the same with everything, everything. If you have a girlfriend or something, and if you see her every day, I mean, sometimes you start living with your girlfriend and that's the way it goes. But maybe a girlfriend is not the great example, but oops. Again, imagine taking your girlfriend out to the opera or to the cinemas all day long, every single day. It's gonna become boring, right? It's something that you need to do maybe once per week, maybe once every 2 weeks. You cannot make that every single day. That's when things start being boring and stuff. So the same with games, you need to treat them as something special. Like when you go to a very nice movie that you wanted to see for a long time, you prepare yourself, you put your favorite shirt, and you go, and it's like, yes, I'm gonna watch this movie. I'm gonna put all my energy into this. I'm gonna focus 100% on this now, and then you enjoy it a lot. But if you are just like, oh, I'm gonna watch another episode on Netflix without thinking much about it, you won't enjoy it that much. Like the last series I saw was the Bethesda Fallout series, and I really liked it. I had so much fun watching that thing. I was like, whoa, this is so nice. And I watched it like in 2 days. Again, when I get obsessed with something, it's bad. It's very bad. I have this obsessive personality, and it's good and it's bad. You really need to learn how to deal with that. Because, yeah. For work, if you love what you're doing and get obsessed with it, yeah, you can get a lot done, and you feel super awesome. It feels great. But then you can burn out, and if you burn out, oh Lord, it's gonna take a lot of time to recover from it. So, yeah. Sorry if I'm repeating myself a lot, but the magic key in this is balance. It takes time, like my dad said. Like you start living when you are like actually 50 years old.
Click on Control-Shift-H for FPS.
Yeah, I can show you the frames per second. People ask me all the time. Remember that my monitor is 4K, and this is half the screen. So we are looking at a 1080 by 1920 kind of thing. This is just an environment. It really has not much going on. We need the game logic, mechanics, all the things to actually get a good idea of performance. So this is not a true representation of what the performance is. If I play the game, I get around 50 frames per second, which is not actually a good way to know. We need to make a comparison to the milliseconds it takes per frame. I exactly don't know how this works. I remember a programmer trying to explain me how this works, but you do a math between the frames per second and the milliseconds, and then you get a better understanding. Then we can go into profiling and check all the different visualizations to see what is actually taking the most performance out of the thing. What I'm trying to say is that we cannot really see the real this is not a good representation of performance yet, and my computer is a little bit too strong. I have a 3060 NVIDIA Ti, and I have a bunch of RAM and a very good processor, so I mean, like, we need to test this in a normal computer, you know. not everybody will have a strong PC, so let's take that in consideration as well. We cannot expect anybody to have like a super strong PC and be like, it runs well in my PC, why it doesn't run well in yours? Well, not everybody has a super awesome PC. So games are interesting because you need to think about that a lot. How can you make this more available for other players, more accessible? How can you make things look nice without burning your PC down? Oops, I want to select this foliage. The foliage tools, they work so sweet. Like, oh my god, big props to Epic Games. I mean, like, all the Fortnite kids who are buying skins, big props. Without their money, we wouldn't be able to pay these developers. I mean, Epic Games wouldn't be able to pay these developers. Yeah, that's my dream job, like working for Epic Games. It's like, it's so far.
You know why, but my FPS is capped at 60 FPS. How can I make it go up to 100 or 200?
Jesus. 100? Wow. It's hard to say. Like, I don't know your project. I have a Discord. Like, you can like share more details, because I first of all, I don't know much about optimization. To be super sincere with you, I don't know much about optimization. I know that lighting is the first thing that you need to see. Do you need dynamic lighting? That's the first question. Do you really need the light to move in your scene? Because if not, backlighting is the first thing you should be thinking about. I know it's kind of buggy and sometimes you don't get the right results, but if you get good lighting, you might achieve a better look than actually lumen lighting. You can get like almost like a rendered image in real time. For example, for this environment, we are not gonna use dynamic lighting. I'm absolutely against dynamic lighting. It looks great, beautiful. Lumen is absolutely amazing, but backlighting, wow, it really helps performance. And we can still have. I said this today like probably 3 times. And I said it before, I think, we can have a backlighting for sunrise, midday, afternoon, and night. And then we can have a transition between those 4 cycles, between those 4 bakes, and we can achieve something like they do in World of Warcraft, where you think light is moving, where you think it's actually changing, but it's just backlighting. Maybe they have dynamic lighting in some areas and stuff, but backlighting is number 1 for games. And even Epic Games professionals say that on the speeches they gave on the Unreal Fest, it's all about the scene. Do you need dynamic lighting? Do you need what kind of experience are you making, right? So for some areas it makes sense to have dynamic, for some other it doesn't make sense. You need to actually really play with it. There's not like it's not a black and white topic. It really depends specifically on your project.
Dynamic lighting is a must in my game, cause I want my game to do a day to night cycle.
You can do
all I need dynamic lighting for.
You don't need dynamic lighting for that. Like I just said, you can have different bakes. You can have a night bake, you can have an afternoon bake, you can have a sunrise bake and a midday bake, and you can make those bakes switch. You can make a transition between those bake lightings, and then you can give the illusion of actually the sun moving or changing from one time to another. That's how most games do it. That's a very awesome solution that I'm actually going to apply here, because since I did a Unity art test and I really realized that baked lighting is the way to go. Performance is great, it looks amazing. It looks super amazing.
That's a good advice.
Yeah, that's how many games do it. That's how many games do it. You can have dynamic lighting in some areas. Like, I'm not against dynamic lighting. It's just that be careful with it, because it's super heavy on performance, like super heavy. It's not like... Remember that a game, it needs to be playable. It's all about gameplay. It's all about actually feeling good, we are not making a movie, we are not making a beautiful picture, we are making a game. And that's the first thing. Is it fun? Does it play well? Does it feel good to move around? That's all you need to ask yourself. And then you can start adding more stuff, making it look beautiful and things like that. And when you get that sweet spot between performance and gameplay and visuals, it really becomes magical. It's like, whoa, this looks great, this feels great, this plays amazingly, and I really like this thing. You know, it's games are crazy. Like, I don't know, it's such a beautiful form of art. It's like it requires so much technical knowledge, but we need to be very thankful. What is this going in here? What? Oops, this is not so nice. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. Oops, oops, oops. We can fix that. Yeah. I should probably fix that right now before I should probably find that static mesh, open the modeling tools, and kind of like fix that thing before I...
Just push it down XE.
No, because I have this repeated all over the environment, so I need to fix the main thing. These are the things that I learned with time. It's the more you complain about it, the more it feels, the more lazy you become about this. So tree swamp, this is what my gym instructor told me one day. Like, if you think about making 20 push-ups, it's gonna be harder than just laying down and doing 20 push-ups, so let's just lay down and do them. That's like the mind power. It's like, dude, the mind is trying to tell you to be lazy. It's like, dude, you don't need to fix it right now, just calm down. But then I know I'm going to have big problems with this in the future. Let's just get it fixed now. Let's find it and let's see what the problem is. Oh, this is not even my prop. Ah, I see. It happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us.
What about texture size? Most of my models have 1K to 2K textures in my game.
You need to think about... I need to share a tutorial with you that talks about texel density, and this stuff is really important. Thankfully we are not playing much with textures in this environment, because textures really get things slow. Yeah, textures. Now we have 100 gigabyte games because textures are big. But what if we don't have textures anymore? There you go, I found it right here. We have a little problem right there. We're gonna fix it. So here I'm just gonna go to modeling tools. When textures work like this, there's a visualizer in Unreal Engine that tells you the texel density and how big or small your textures size should be. Let's think about player camera. How far or close is your camera going to be from each specific texture? Most of the time you can get away with 512 or 1024. You don't need a 2K just for specific areas, and using more than 2K textures I don't recommend at all, really. Again, it really depends on your game and what you're doing, so I don't have much like I don't know exactly what you're trying to make, so I cannot really advise you much on this topic, and I don't know your player camera or what it is actually that... Okay, I think we got the one that was twisted. Let's see if we can push it. I see the problem. Okay, I see. This is not so sweet of a thing. I think I did an extrusion. I think I messed this up. Yeah. But we're gonna give it a little detail and play with those faces and just try to make them a little smaller. So it's like a broken root kind of thing. Let's accept and let's see how it looks. It kind of closes the gap, or does it look like that from the center? I think that we solved it. And if you look at it from the bottom, it looks like a broken root. It's okay, kind of works for this kind of style. I kind of can play with this. Nice.
I'm making a language learning game with Anime Shader. It's an open world game. It has a storyline and animations.
That's very cool. So frame rate is not your first priority. You are saved. Just letting you know that you don't need 60 frames per second is great. Even 24 frames per second is great. It's not an action game. It's not a shooter game. It's not a first person game. Great. If you can achieve 30, 60 frames per second, amazing. You don't need more than that. People complain a lot if your game is not 60 frames per second when you are making a shooter game. First person, third person shooter. They get dizzy. Some people get dizzy when it's not actually going at 60. So you're saved. It's not an action game. Great. It can be even 24 frames per second, like traditional animation. Doesn't need to be more than 30 frames. That's amazing. This is going to be an action RPG. And if we get 30 frames per second, that's great. If we get 60, that's amazing. More than 60 frames, I don't think we need it. Yeah, like 100 frames per second. Wow, that would be crazy. I haven't seen that yet.
Thank you so much for helping me.
Definitely. Yeah, any other question you have, I will definitely try to answer. I'm not an expert. I'm just always trying to learn, and I can definitely as long as I can refer you to another tutorial or a Discord channel that might know more than I do, I will definitely do it. There's a very good YouTube channel called Pirate Software, and they have a very nice Discord channel where there's a very big community of game developers. And if you really want to get deep into these topics and ask about programming, ask about optimization, you can ask these guys, and they should probably come up with some nice advice. You can also go to the forums. In the Unreal Engine forums, there's amazing people in there, and yeah, and obviously anything I can help you with, I'll be happy with. It's always nice to share the knowledge. And another thing that I need to mention is remember that the viewport in Unreal Engine is one thing, but you need to keep on building that game, keep on exporting that game, because when you have the export version, it's not the same as the viewport. It's not 100% the same. You might run into problems, little bottlenecks, little things that might not work, might not perform the same. That happened to me. I've done like 3 interactive projects so far. I built like three different things, and yes, it really just expects surprises. And then there's where things get a little bit more complicated. So always try to save some time for testing. Testing is number one. Testing, testing, testing.
You work so hard, you are so consistent. That's inspiring me at bar.
Thank you so much. I don't know. It's it's kind of weird. Like I've been very lazy in some stages of my life. I've been very lazy, and sometimes I just get the bug, just really kind of things click, and I'm like, I kind of want to do this and go very hard with this. For example, with 3D art, I didn't know what I wanted to do with 3D art. I'm a 3D generalist, and I don't know. I started making motion graphics. I worked in music events. Then I got my degree from university, and then I went to Germany for a internship, and then I worked remotely for that studio for a year, and then I tried to make my own little games, and then I burned out and kind of had a very bad time overscoping things and having, typical trying to what is this? Oh my god, no. This rock is super big. Yeah, so I overscope things. My biggest advice in game development is just keep it easy, keep it small. Don't try to make something very big. It becomes overwhelming very quick, very fast. I rather have like a small game, small experience. If I ever do a game by myself again, I will do something very small. Imagine going to an online website like Miniclip, like this on like browser games, right? And then copying one idea from there and just making it into Unreal Engine. Something like that. Something short, something that you can just play a little bit, like a pinball game. Something maybe not that simple, but like there was this game called Motorload. It's like a little machine that goes under the soil and you pick minerals and buy new parts, and you can go deeper and deeper to find better minerals and stuff. It's super fun. And imagine making that in Unreal Engine. That'll be super fun. That way you don't need to think much about it. It's like I have the idea already. I'm just copying this and trying to translate it into Unreal. So you know exactly where the game ends, and there's nothing else to add to it. Because when you're creating a game from scratch and you are working by yourself, overscoping, it's the first thing that happens to people is like, what if I do this or do that and add here, add there? And when you realize, it's like, what? I will never be able to finish this. So yeah. Single, there you go. Yeah, that's probably my biggest advice. That's why working with people is so nice, because like other people can tell you like, dude, no, that's out of the scope. No, dude, that's too much. Nope, we are not gonna make that. We're gonna keep it simple. But you need to have that kind of people that actually have that mindset, because if we have other people that are just like, yeah, we can do everything, it's also not good. Alright, set dressing. A little bit here, a little bit there. But that game that you're making sounds very fun. Learning languages in an open world, anime style, sounds very nice. My computer got bugged out. Awesome. Painting foliage is my favorite thing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this I can do for hours. It's like so nice. And guess what? You can transform any static mesh into foliage painting. Just drag and drop it into the foliage tab. You can change how big it is, and with this single placement brush you can cycle through your selected foliage and just create very interesting things. You can actually foliage paint buildings or whatever you want. And if you heard about PCG, procedural content generation, it uses foliage painting tools with splines and some other nodes that modify the density, the noise of these little boxes that spawn the meshes. And you can have bounding boxes that actually tell the assets how far away should they be from each other and stuff. It's like, it works very similar to other programs like geometry nodes in Blender. They have something very similar. I've seen some impressive stuff in Blender. I kinda wanna go back to Blender and learn some stuff. When you're spawning rocks and you only have 2 assets, be careful because it starts looking very repetitive, like right here, exactly right there. Starts looking very repetitive. So we're gonna switch it up a little bit. I don't know, maybe I think I'm going too detailed with this stuff. I'm gonna take some water. Let's see if this orange juice tastes as good, because I bought my favorite orange juice a couple of days ago, and when I opened the thing, it was sour. It was going bad, and I was like, no. Good enough to drink it, but it was not the right taste. And I was like, no. This is probably the most expensive orange juice I like. Thankfully I bought the small version, not the big one. You know, in rainy season, oranges don't taste so nice in Costa Rica. They like the soil to be dry for the juice to be very sweet. This is the second time that happens to me. I tried the juice and I'm like, no, this is not sweet. It doesn't need to be sweet, but is it like sour? Maybe. What's the word in English? It's like not the taste I was expecting. Hopefully this one is gonna be super nice. This everything you see here I haven't modeled. This is a lot of things that I collected through the years. It's a free asset packs that I've been downloading. But the question that you are asking might be, how do you decide what foliage should I use in each biome? Maybe that's what you mean, because it really doesn't matter if you model it or just got it from somewhere. You need to think about biomes. For example, here I have a swamp environment, and I don't want to mix too much of these assets with the jungle environment, which is similar but not the same. So I'm using ferns, I'm using a lot of different things here, and I'm using these kind of dead trees with moss and a lot of mushrooms to like cover up the player a little bit. But then on the jungle environment, let me see if I can just jump a little bit. Oh, this is gonna be so magical when I get to work on this. I need to change the landscape painting texture, the texture from the terrain. Let me see. So here we have this. My dad saw this and he was like, dude, I don't like those trees. Like, it really does not define, or this don't really look like a tree. It looks like a rock, he told me. And I'm like, you're kind of right. We need to find something more interesting. Let me see if I can show you. There you go. So here, for example, I have this other. This looks like a surfboard. Yeah, my dad is always like on point, cause he studied fashion design, and all my family are designers and artists, and they look at my work and they go straight to the problem. They go like, dude, I don't like that. That doesn't look nice. That does not resemble a tree. That's what my dad tells me all the time. So you see, like, these are very beautiful tropical plants that we actually have in Costa Rica a lot. So I'm not gonna place these in the swamp environment, because these like a lot of light. These like, some plants like a lot of light, some like shade. So I'm trying to like check that out and differentiate. How do you pick them up? Well, you need to watch some documentaries on nature and biomes, and try to maybe some biology or botany books, and they will tell you what grows in where, and they add them up together. So you have shade plants, you have plants that like dry environments, you like plants that like tropical environments and a lot of light, and they're competing against the light and stuff. So it's nice to try to, for example, a palm tree I will never put in the swamp environment, because I've been in swamps and I don't see palm trees there. They like a lot of sun, and they usually grow near to the salt water, which I don't have salt water here. I will have some salt water here. Here I'm gonna make a burned forest. I'm very excited about this area. It's gonna be all burned, and like, I want ashes falling and stuff. What is this? Hey, this is a little thing that I was not expecting. Yeah, this area is very, you see, is in development.
I am currently making biome reference boards on Pure Rain, so I think I'm on the right track. I'm using AI to help create the images.
Oh,
Offer plenty of ideas and inspiration.
yeah. I don't know. Is your game going to be realistic? Cause I wouldn't use AI for realistic things. If it is fantasy, go with it. But maybe just looking at documentaries will help you a little bit more of to see how actually how things grow and what kind of plants you need. Static mesh. But
It'll be aiming for more of a PS2 look.
oh,
Just for inspiration though.
that's very good. That's very good then. More stylized stuff. Yeah. That's super awesome. I mean, AI can also give you composition, color, and just ideas. I mean, I'm not against AI by any means. Like, it's what it is. It's not like it doesn't really matter how much people complain about AI. It's not going away. It's not going away at all. As an artist, you need to see how you can take advantage of it and make it so it makes your work better. For example, like for stylized 3D props, I believe text to 3D
I
is
agree with you take on AI.
yeah. For stylized props, imagine like I'm sure there should be a text to 3D algorithm already working. What's the word? I forgot. Model? Are they called models? I mean the little machine learning stuff that is used to actually create things with AI. For low poly props, I mean that would be crazy. Like imagine just typing War Zeppelin and it gets you like a super nice low poly.
Makes textures for models in Blender.
Yeah, I've seen that. Very, very cool stuff. Still, I mean, very impressive. Still in development for sure, but it's gonna get better and better and better and better. So it's time to really take advantage of that. We're going to get to the point very soon where you can basically just type make me a game and it will create a game for you. We are very close to that point. It's gonna be here soon. But it's like it's kind of fun because you still need to know what's good, what's not good. Like, it's kind of an interesting topic, right? Like, it doesn't really matter how nice the tools are, you still need to have some foundations on, or a good idea, or you still need to have that artist vision to do something nice with AI. It's like it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting topic. Yeah, I'm trying to look for. I'm like very interested on how this is going to develop.
I love making 3D models, so even if I could generate them, I wouldn't. Art is fun.
Yeah, I mean, I tried generating 3D models and it's a mess. It's a big mess. You generate a blob with a texture. Without that texture, it's not a 3D model. It's just a bunch of nonsense. We are not there yet, but it's gonna get there soon. Very soon, where you can actually get a nice 3D model with proper topology without textures looking good. And it's gonna be very interesting what actually is going to happen with this. But again, imagine being an artist, a 3D artist, right? So you have somebody who knows how to prompt. You have a prompt artist and you have a 3D artist. The outcome, the final outcome, if I'm a 3D artist and I generate something in AI and I modify it in a 3D software like Blender and I refine it and make it nicer, what outcome is gonna be better? The guy who just used AI or the guy who actually uses AI plus 3D traditional workflow to refine? That's the question, right? Obviously, the guy who takes this thing to Blender or other program and refines it is gonna look much nicer. It's like the 3D, how do you call this? The Pokemon illustration contest. There was a scandal because somebody won with a Pikachu image that actually used AI, but he's an artist. He took that AI image and painted over it and made it super nice. And I mean, I'm sorry, but it looks great because he's an artist and he knows what works, what doesn't. You know, like that's totally valid in my opinion. You know, for example, when traditional painters got mad because then Photoshop came out and everything became digital, they got very mad at it. They got very scared because it's like, damn, now these people can generate images in hours, while it took me so long to wait for my medium to dry. You know, now they can just go Control-C and do whatever they want and have variations and stuff. What? And then these painters, these digital painters got mad when photo bashing came out and people started merging images together to create concept art. Like a good photo basher can create outstanding, like unbelievable images so quick that there's no way to compete with them when it comes to photorealism, right? So it's whatever works. And it takes a lot of understanding to actually to make a good photo bashing. It's not something that you can just like put together and call it a day. You need to really understand lighting, really understand composition, really understand all these fundamentals, and then having the Photoshop skills, you can create some very amazing things. So what I'm trying to say is that learn fundamentals. Learn the fundamentals, because no matter what your tool is going to be, you still need the fundamentals. Lighting is never going to change, composition is never going to change, color theory is never going to change. Just learn those fundamentals as good as you can and your art will look amazing. It doesn't really matter what tool you use. You need to try to apply these things. Okay, that's kind of cool. I think this area is kind of getting nicer. Oof, I'm getting hot right here. It's 2 p.m. Nice. Time is flying today. Wow. Gonna work maybe 2 more hours and just go out for a little break. I really want to go out today. Go for a nice walk and see the sunset and chill out a little bit. Good. This juice is good. The other one was a little expired. Sometimes the package gets a little gap. Air comes in and then it gets spoiled. So don't pick up packages that are like beaten up. I kind of had the feeling when I picked it up, it was a little beaten up. I was like, I shouldn't take that one, but I took it and it was a little bit sour. Ooh, foliage, and I think this shirt is a little bit thick too. Alright, I'm kinda happy with this actually. These little rocks are looking nice. I can still add a bunch of little mushrooms. Let's actually paint some mushrooms and let's give this another pass of detail. I hope I didn't paint a rock in the upper meshes there. Sometimes you click the viewport and you paint foliage in random places. It's kind of fun. Let's look for these little mushrooms. I have these little mushrooms that I really like. They are red, but not totally red. Okay, these ones are super nice. Let me just put them into the foliage. Right here. Just add them up and just save them into a foliage actor. You need to do this with each one of them. Cool. Then we go into here. We deselect all the things and then select the ones we need. Actually, it did that for us. When you import a mesh into the foliage actor, it selects it for you, I guess. You don't need to deselect the rest, which is super awesome. So let's add a little bit of mushrooms, just a little bit. They like to grow somewhere near the roots, somewhere in the dark. Not all of them like the dark, but just a little bit. Nope, they like to grow in clusters.
Do you ever view the worlds you make in VR?
No, but I'm super interested in VR. I'm definitely wanna create some VR stuff for sure. I'm waiting for the technology to get better, which is already very good. I do want to get into VR. That would be super nice. The problem with VR again is that accessibility, like not everybody has a VR set, right? Like that's the big deal. We want to make things as accessible as possible. Even making a mobile game, everybody has a phone. It's probably the most accessible thing. That's why Roblox is super crazy, because like almost everybody has a cell phone. It's kind of mobile gaming is crazy. Like seriously, like you think about it, like the more people can access your product, the more you know, the more you can actually get advantage of that. It needs to be a great product, and it needs to work great in a mobile. I don't believe this is gonna be mobile. I don't think so. Because we wanna push it a little bit harder, and we will need people to have PCs to play this. But for example, Roblox, I'm so impressed because I play that with my daughter, and it's like, what? I can't believe like I'm playing on a computer and she's playing on her phone, and like, what? And it looks pretty nice. Sometimes the artist put like some effort and it make it look nice. Even though it's a super simple low poly game, you can make it look interesting. These PCG rocks, we need to, every time you have a slopes, they are very hard to deal with. If your meshes are not closed, they are like open on the bottom, then painting, spawning them with procedural generation on a slope, you get those gaps in between, and yeah, kinda really wanna see how can I deal with that better. Every PCG tutorial there is on YouTube, they don't use slopes because you get a lot of problems with slopes. need to find a solution and make a tutorial on that, like how to use PCG. You see, this is what I'm talking about, floating rocks, and you can see the bottom. Not so nice. We can fix that. Going to the PCG settings, pushing the rocks down, or maybe just closing the model, or maybe just painting something on top, maybe making a spline to get that off there. It's so nice to get into details, seriously. Like, I was really just all over the place a couple of days ago. I was like, oh my god, this is too big of an environment, I will never be able to finish it. Every time you feel overwhelmed in a project, you need to see some progress. If you start seeing some progress in the project, you will start feeling much better about the project. But if you don't see progress, it gets overwhelming very fast. That's why you need to just focus on a little area and get some progress. That's what also that's why programming and like game logic, it's sometimes very hard, because you work for hours in a little feature and you don't see the progress on it, and it's like very frustrating. Like, oh my god, I spent all day in this little thing, in this little blueprint, and it's not doing what I want. Damn. Thankfully, we have a very good programmer that is gonna help us with the logic. I'll try just to give my honest opinion and stuff with the game and stuff, but it's not really my game, so I cannot be too pushy with the ideas or stuff like that. I can just make some cool environments. That's all I can do. Create some props, create some interesting stuff. I just need a little mushroom growing right there. No, not so tall. Oh, jeez. It's okay, let's keep it like that. I want to add more. I want to play with the materials a little bit, so all the wood has a little bit of moss. Everything feels more integrated into the environment. That's probably the thing I need. Oh, okay, this is not so sweet. Let me change that with the rocks. Rock. Static mesh. Maybe this one? It's kind of cool. I need to go into selection mode. Is this PCG? Yes, it's PCG. Okay. Yeah, PCG. It's super powerful, but I wish I can just control it by hand. I saw a tutorial on how to turn every single asset from PCG into a static mesh, which might not be the greatest idea because it's gonna blow up the computer. Let's change this material. Let's add some little rocks. Add them around there to blend in a little bit the thing. Kind of cool. And then let's get the foliage mushrooms. Let's get these ones off. This one in. Just one little mushroom growing like that. That's kind of cool. A little bit on the floor as well. Yeah. Around here. It's super nice just to add off. That's not the one. I wish I can cycle them in order so I can make my own cycle selection. That'll be super powerful, like having them into a order cycle. I got stuck. It'll be super nice to make my own list of like a how do you say this? To modify the order I can cycle this through. That'll be super powerful because that way I can actually make myself big, middle, small, tuk, 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 and really like add them up in a specific like logic, because this random or logic doesn't really help me. Like sometimes I want to spawn just a big one and it goes small. Sometimes I want a single one and it spawns the whole thing. Maybe, I mean, it's called single because you're supposed to just use it one by one. Yeah, that'll be super cool. Sometimes you get that like very sweet moment where like it spawns exactly what you need for the place you need and it just looks super nice, and sometimes it's like, no, that's not what I needed. For example, now it kind of worked. That's more than enough. It's sometimes just a little one will make the trick. One for integration, two for I forgot what I said last time. It was super nice, a little thing I said for placing assets, and it kind of makes sense. I kind of want to go back to the stream and see if I can pick that part up. 3, it's a little bit too much, but 1 integrates and the other one, okay, yeah, it's like 1 for integration, 2 for abundance, and 3 it might look repetitive. So sometimes just one little mushroom can make it look nice. I'm talking about like placing foliage assets in general. The rule of 3. Oof, okay. We have a floating thing here. We can solve that. Let me see. Is this okay, it's just one mesh. I thought it was a spline, so no problem. Okay, kind of cool. Nice. We need more stuff. Wow, this place is huge. Yeah, getting a little bit. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this area. I think I can leave it like this for now. Feels nicer than before, much nicer. Before it was It felt very incomplete. It takes around 10 seconds to play. Wow. Oh, we have a texture streaming pool budget. Wow. Finally. Hey, alright. That's not good news. Oh, cause the character, yeah. The character has some very heavy textures and materials. Yeah, that's right. This character is a little heavy. I can go to Mixamo and kind of like bring my low poly character and kind of make a walk cycle from him. And I can like retarget the animations and just replace the character. It will take me around maybe 1 hour, maybe more, because I haven't done that in a long time, but now it's easier than before. Just to get a better idea of how a stylized character should look like in here. That'll be nice. Yeah, these pine trees combined with the here I need some kind of access to this house, some kind of like stairs and stuff, because it doesn't really make sense to have that high up. Oof, this looks too sharp. This mushroom, it needs some smoothing. When you make those props too big, it really breaks down a little bit. It's too sharp. This voodoo doctor, witch doctor thing is kind of looking nice. We need to get some bubbling water and more vines going down and stuff like that. That'll be super cool. Yeah, I wish I could step on these mushrooms. I can definitely make them collide. That'll be super nice. Let's see, it's 2:30. Okay, what if how much time will it take me to walk to the other side of the swamp? It's very dense, like it's low poly, but it's super dense. It's like a very dense jungle. I kind of want to get the underwater effect so we're able to swim and stuff. That'll be super nice. The waves and the texture of the water, it needs some adjustments for sure. It's not really moving so nicely. I think it's gonna take me like 5 minutes to walk to the other side. Maybe not 5, maybe that's too much. Maybe like 2 minutes. and I can barely see where the end of this is. I can see like the pink forest from here, which I need to block that out. I want the feeling of you cannot see the exit of the thing. That's why we got some torches, so it guides the player a little bit, because also we don't want the player to get lost too much. It will be very frustrating. Okay, we got a lot of floating stuff and little things I need to change. Oh my god. And here's where things start feeling a little bit repetitive. It's just the same props scattered over and over and over and over. We need to add areas that have different mushrooms, areas that have different color, so you feel like progression through the space, because you don't want to be walking on the same thing for what is it, like 3 minutes now, 4 or 5 minutes. It's gonna be like we need to break the zone in like 3 little parts and add specific mushrooms to that. So we have like a yellowish part, we have other part that mushrooms can be, I don't know, you see like these yellow mushrooms, it will be super fun to have them just in the middle of the environment, so it breaks the thing. It's like, oh, I'm in a different area now, and then I'm in a different area now. This is what World of Warcraft does a lot. Like, you walk a little bit and then things change. You walk a little bit, things change again. It keeps it very interesting to walk around. And this, exposure settings are not so nice. This is not supposed to look like so dark. Yeah, there is something going on with this exposure. Post-process volume. I'm actually gonna grab this thing, gonna make it a little smaller. And yeah, need to get that right. Here I want to change the color of the terrain. This area I wanted to make it totally different, and we need to block the vision between the swamp and this area. We need to make some kind of like mountain or something that blocks out the vision, so you're not able to see the pink tree from the swamp environment. We need to block it out. That'll be much nicer. And here we can make a space in the center, place some ruins or something interesting. Okay, well, pretty happy with the swamp environment for now. The desert environment will be so fun to make. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It might be the heat or something, but I'm getting a little bit dizzy or a little bit tired. I think a cold shower will be good right now, just to refresh myself a little bit. Maybe the heat from the PC is also like getting me. Okay. Oh, we have this other camp. I forgot about this place, which needs some serious addressing. Oh, that's funny. So much to work on. But that's good. I think I got the swamp to level 2. We can still get it to level 3. I think it's very good. it's time to walk to another area and add a little bit more detail there and continue. Because now I can really... Oh, what is this? Yeah, you can polish this, like you can stay in one area for too long, but it's nice to, now that we have this detail. Oof, what is this? Yeah, there's so much stuff to fix and polish and stuff. But I'm pretty happy. I think I'm getting the mood I want. These telephone cables I want to change for proper vines. That's funny. And the river system, I kind of want to think about the river system. I kind of want to make the river go out to through this forest out to the ocean right here. And also this waterfall needs to connect to another kind of pool, another pond, and the water needs to flow from up the mountains here. So I need to work on the water system, the water flow, the river flow of this environment. So we're gonna have the water coming from up the mountains, from the jungle, going down here. This is the lowest pond in the environment, right in the center. But this one will connect to here, breaking the environment in half and making these very big hills that will break this forest in half. Like water will come out here, and the swamp maybe gets water from rain, I don't know, which is right next to the desert environment. Again, we need some high mountains here to separate the desert from the swamp, and this desert environment is gonna be very fun to work on. And again, we need a little bit more mountains to break these maybe these snow mountains can be a little bit farther away from the desert, which there's desert areas with snow when they're very high in the mountains, like a very high deserts, that can exist. Also, there are desert areas with swamps, so it's kind of need to look for more reference and try to get that right, to give it a little bit more logic. And what do we have in here? We have these floating pieces of soil that we can actually just try to cover up a little bit. That's the beauty of low poly. It's just like so easy on the PC to like just duplicate a big chunk of mountain and move it. It's not like an 8K Megascan that is just gonna lag everything up. And here the jungle area, this requires some serious work. I don't wanna even get in here. Yeah, it's gonna require a lot of work. Yeah, let's just take a little break. Pretty happy. And then we have the snow island, and I want to make like a third island with some Asian temples and stuff. Oh my god. Well, let's go little by little. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you hopefully a little bit later.